enjoy the ride with Crystal Petry, consulted, so inspired.
Hello, my name is Crystal Petry, and you are watching another episode of the Crystal Petry podcast. On today's episode, I'm so excited. I get to sit down and talk to someone who has ran at the Olympic trials. Oh my God. I'm so excited. This is Chloe Rodriguez. So welcome to the podcast, Chloe.
Thank you so much. I'm actually so excited. This is my first time getting interviewed.
This is my first time interviewing someone that ran at the Olympic trials. So I'm trying to be professional and be calm and not be fangirl right now. But that's really what I want to do. That's really what I want to do. Okay, so my first question for you, Chloe, is how did you get into track?
I started doing track, I want to say middle school, just like everyone usually does. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't start taking it serious until my junior summer going into senior year. Okay. And then that's when I got involved in summer track, and my summer track coach was like, "Oh, are you gonna do this in college?" And I was like, sure, why not? Because at that time I was playing volleyball, mm-hmm. and I thought I wanted to go in volleyball. But yeah, he told me to choose between 400 hurdles or the 800. I did not want to do the 800 at all. I did the 400 hurdles, and then since then I just came here and I grew.
So what happened your junior, senior year that made you decide, okay, I think I'm going to really take this serious?
I think it was, the biggest turning point was, I used to play club for volleyball. Okay. And that year I was having a really hard time finding a spot on a team for me for volleyball. And I think I was just I talked to my mom, and we went back to another old coach that I had, and he was a good coach, mm-hmm. but he was also one of those coaches where it's drains you mentally. And my mom was like, which one would you prefer? Who do you trust more in saying that you're going to do well in college? Because at that time, my track coach was telling me that I was going to do well, mm-hmm. too. And it took me a minute, and I just was I don't trust the volleyball coach. So I was I'll just stick with my coach because I trust him.
Now, you chose the 400 hurdles, which is 1 lap around the track, and the 800 is 2 laps around the track. Why did you choose the 400 hurdles? Because that race really is probably just as difficult as the 800.
It's really not. It's really not. I think it's easier. Mm-hmm. I really do think that it was just because I had a little bit of experience doing hurdling in middle school, doing the 100 hurdles. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I was really good at the 400. That was my main event, and I was excited to run it. So once he said 400 hurdles, I was okay, it's just a 400. Mm-hmm. And then I was I have a little bit of experience in hurdles, so I was maybe I'll just choose that over running 800.
2 laps.
Yeah, because you have to sprint those 2 laps.
You do. You do. It's no longer a run.
Yeah, it's a sprint.
Yes.
So I was no, I'm not going to do that.
So, okay, we graduate high school, then you come to Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, and you run for the Lamar track team, correct? Mm-hmm. And you're doing the 400 hurdles. Are you doing any other races or just the 400?
Yeah, so
the 400 hurdles, excuse me.
I've done the 400, the open 400, 400 hurdles. I've done the 200 before, twice. The 4x4, I'm on there. I've done that all. Indoor season, it's usually just the 400, but last year I started doing the 60 hurdles. And so I'm going to pick that back up this year. And then, yeah, just all the 400s. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. So I want you to walk me through, if you can, step by step, how does a collegiate athlete end up racing in the Olympic trials? So you raced in the Olympic trials in 2024, the Summer Is the trials in 2024 like the same year of the Olympics? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you race at the Olympic trials in 2024. Where are the Olympic trials held?
They were held at Eugene, Oregon.
Okay.
At the University of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like for college athletes, at least for me this year, or the past year, I was really solely focused on just college track. So that would be conference, regionals, and then NCAA championships, nationals. My season ended early at regionals because I didn't run well, so I thought like the season was over. But typically you would keep on going up and then make it to nationals. So then I stopped running for like 2 weeks, and then my coach told me, oh, like your time can qualify for the Olympic trials. And then I was like, really? And I just like, I didn't know anything about like the Olympics or like how like it worked.
Yes.
So I didn't know that you have to like qualify. I didn't know that it was like a regular meet to where you have to qualify and then you're like accepted to go or not. So when he told me that, I was like, And I remember I was telling my mom at, I think we were in Arkansas still for regionals. I was like, oh, like, yeah, the Olympic trials are in Oregon. And I already knew at the time one of my teammates, Kenson, that he was going to go. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, yeah, he's going to go. And we were talking about that. So then, I don't know, like, after I found out that I was able to qualify, I was like, okay, so then I had to, like, get all my paperwork done. I had to just sign up for, like, the World Athletics or something like that, some website. And then I had to email the Olympic trials person, and pretty much I had to wait for a little bit, and then like a couple of days later they were like, okay, and they sent out the list of who all made it, and then it said accepted by my name, and I was the last entry to get accepted.
Wow.
So yeah.
What was your time?
It was 57:10.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, so then how far in advance do you, as the athlete that's competing at the Olympic trials, how far do you have to get there, like before the actual race? Do you get there like a week before?
I got there, did I get there a week before? I think we did get there maybe, if not a week, then maybe like 4 days before, or like 3. I can't remember, but Coach Clark made sure that we got there so I can like feel out the stadium, because that was my first time running there, and then just gave me time to like experience everything that was there, and like experience Oregon as well, to just adjust to like the new, because the time zone is different there. So I had time to adjust there, which I was actually really nervous about.
Yes.
Because there was one time I had gone somewhere to go run, and the time zone really messed me up, and I was like so nervous about that, but then like I was able to adjust. Plus it was closer to summertime too, so I was like already like staying up a little later. So like by the time I ran, it was like I think like 9 o'clock
at night
here. Yeah, here.
Okay.
And over there it was like 8 or like 6, one of those. So, yeah.
That is late. I didn't realize they did it that late.
Yeah, it was late.
Wow. Okay, so when your coach tells you you have the time to qualify for the Olympic trials, like, were you jumping for joy, or were you just like, oh, okay? Like, what was your reaction?
I think I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, like I didn't think anything of it, because I didn't think that I was going to like run in it. Like I just thought, like I was like, oh, that's cool. But then I was also thinking like, oh, there's still time to where people can like go before me, and like I could drop down. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I didn't really think anything of it.
Okay, so obviously my next question is, once you've been accepted to run at the Olympic trials, what was your feeling then?
I was thinking like the biggest thing was like, I was like, yep, this is my comeback. I was like, yeah, I was like, God didn't see me at nationals, but I'll be there for the Olympic trials. I was so excited. I don't want to say it was a full circle moment, but it was just like one of those moments where you're just like, I'm very religious, so I was like, God is showing me like this is what I can do, you know, like the talent that like He gave me, like I can do this if I really wanted to. So it was just like, and still like even now, like I really cannot believe it. Like,
can you believe it?
I really can't. Like, and it's just so crazy because like my mom, like my dad, my brothers, like everybody was saying like, and like telling me like, do you like understand like not that many people get this opportunity? And I was like, yeah. And like at that moment, I guess I didn't really like understand that. But then like even being there and like the day of, and like I walked on the track before my race and I looked at like all the people, I was like, wow. I was like, this is pretty crazy.
Yes, like so crazy.
Yeah.
How many times did you run at the Olympic trials?
So I only ran once, but there was 3 rounds that you get by. So the first round, I think it was like 33 of us, 38 of us, and then it dropped down to 24. And then, or like 20, and then the last round ended up being like 9. 9, and then top 3 go to the Olympics. But I only went to round 1, which is, it's like, to me, I'm sounding like, oh man, like only round 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna let you finish your statement though.
Yeah, like, but I don't know, like I just thought that I was gonna do better, especially because you can't necessarily like see the races when you're in the heating area. They have a TV and everything, but at that moment you're trying to like focus.
Right.
So like they let the 2 first heats go, and I think I was the 3rd heat, and they all went, and then it was like a long way to the actual track, and we had to go underneath the stadium, and underneath the stadium is like there's like a piece of like small indoor track where you could like warm up on. So then by the time I went under there, I think heat 1 was just starting, and I was sitting down there in the seats, and they had a screen there, and like I was keeping track of the times in my head, but then like I told myself to like stop doing that, because usually when I do that, then I start like try and like chase a time. And my coach and like all of my past coaches have always told me like, you can't chase a time because then you won't get it. Like you just have to do it in the moment. So then after a while, I think at the second heat, that's when I was like, okay, like I'm about to go next, I need to lock in. And I remember looking at the time, and like the last girl ran like, I want to say it was like a 58, 57. And I was like,
you can beat that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I can get in there. So then I went out and I was so confident, and then it just didn't go the way that I expected it to.
Okay, it didn't go the way you expected it to, but you still ran at the Olympic trials in 2024. So did that like spark something in you, like I can do this in 2028 when it comes back?
Yeah, actually, the closing ceremonies, they had like posted like where it was gonna be. Like they posted like the flyer and everything, and like I posted it on my Instagram story, and I was like, I didn't say anything, but I just posted it, and I was like, yep, only people who are locked into me knows that like there's a meaning behind this.
Yes.
But yeah, I do definitely like. Obviously, it's not going to be easy, but I would definitely love. It would be a dream of mine to, like, run in the Olympics.
So what was your time in the Olympic trials? Higher or lower than your 57?
Way lower.
Okay. Do you think maybe it's just, like, nerves, your first time there? The environment is the Olympic trials?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay.
Like I went out there before. Yeah, I was nervous. I had jitters. But when I went out there and like I did my little run out, and I was like looking around, and like Coach Clark reminded me to just breathe in and take in the moment and just like really live in it. I did that, and they were taking a while for us to get in the blocks either way. So I was out there for a minute, and I was just like relaxed. I was like obviously my heart was beating, but like I was like, okay, like I'm ready for this. I can do this. Like all of that type of stuff. I was praying, which I think helped a lot in like really like calming me down. I think in the end it was just, I just don't think it was a good race. I think like, and I remember telling my coach like, there's the first 100 and then there's the straightaway, and I was on the back half of my race, and I felt like I should have gone faster, but I didn't trust myself to. It was a little bit pushed back to where like I usually went fast. So I was scared that if I had gone just a little bit early, it was gonna throw me off. And I think like I was just thinking too much, and I should have just done what my body was telling me to do and just go faster. Because by then everybody had kind of left me at that point. And then where I usually speed up, and I tried to speed up there, it didn't make an impact.
Okay.
So I think it was just, I was just thinking too much about it, and I think it was just a bad race.
Did you feel like on that back stretch, if you would have started going too fast, by the time you got to the final 100, maybe you didn't have anything left?
Yeah, but now like thinking, I think I'm like my personality and the way that I run and everything, I don't think I would have let that happen. Like if I had like pushed myself and then the last 100, if I was like there next to someone and it was me or them, I think I would have like given more. Like I don't think I would have. And if I had it, then I would have at least felt like proud that like I was like right there, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You are an athlete at Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas. What is your classification? Are you sophomore?
I'm a senior now.
You're a senior. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what is like an average practice day for you for track?
Lately we've been practicing a lot in the morning. It depends on different days, but I'll give you like Tuesdays rundown. Practice is at 6:30. I usually get here.
Is that in the morning?
6:30 in the morning. I usually get here around like 6:15 because I want to heat my legs and stuff, and then I also just want to chill. Then we go out there at 6:30. We used to do a mile warm up, but I talked Coach Clark down to only doing 3 laps because a mile is crazy. So we do a 3 lap warm up, and then we get into our like drills and everything, and then we do, this past week we did 3 sets of 200, 300, 300, 200. So it was 4 sets of that, and it's like 2 minutes in between. And like for those days are like our mileage days. Those are the hardest days for me. I cannot I hate running for long periods of time, especially when it's a sprint.
Right.
And we're trying to make a time too. So those days are usually really, really hard for me. Those are the days where like I'm like praying to God during the workout, like please get me through this.
Yes.
And then after that, we take like a few minutes to catch our breath, and then we have to do our cool down, which is a 3 lap cool down, and then after you stretch. And then that's it for Tuesdays, but then like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we would have practice in the morning, and then I would go to straights right after and do some weights and stuff over there, and then class, and then everything else after.
Okay. While you were in Oregon running at the Olympic trials, did you meet like any of your idols or anyone famous?
Yes. I met the one athlete that I love, who I adore so much, Sydney McLaughlin.
Oh my God! I was gonna say Sydney, but I didn't want to be like.
Yes, I met her. Oh my gosh, I love her so much.
Me
too. She is an inspiration, true inspiration to everything. But yeah, like my coach knows this. Like I love this woman. Every time I see like that there's a post about her, I always repost it. I always like retweet it or something. But Yeah, so when we got to the Olympic trials, I saw Noah Lyles, he was warming up. I saw Masai Russell, she was warming up as well. I think I saw Anna Hall. Did I? Maybe not. But I saw like all of the pro athletes, and it was really cool watching them like warm up and stuff.
Yes.
But I was like on the lookout for Sydney the entire time we were there. Obviously, like I would like lock in for like when I would be like working and stuff. But I think the first time I saw her was, yeah, it was the day of my meet. It was the day that I was gonna run, and we had to go to we had to go check in, and I had to like sign my name and stuff. And my name happened to have the mark where like they have to check my spikes. So like I didn't know that they were gonna check my spikes, so it took me a long time to get my stuff out the bag. And I just so happened to like out the corner of my eye see someone's behind me. I'm like, oh. So then like I try to move out the way and I turn around. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my
so I slowly turn back around and I look at my coach, and I have my sunglasses on. So like I kind of just like go like this to him, and he starts smiling, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So in my head I'm like, hey, play cool. She's right behind you.
Right.
Just, like, and she's like locked in. She has her whole thing on. She has her headphones on. I'm like, okay, like let me be cool like her. So like I'm there, and then like it's taking a long time for me to get my spikes out. And they finally check it, and I have to put my spikes back inside my bag. So the whole time she's waiting to just sign her name. So then I'm like, okay. So then like I'm taking a long time. So then I just turn around and I'm like, do you want to go? And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. So then I move all my stuff to the side, and then I just like watch her sign her name, and then she walks off, and then like I put my stuff in, and then like Coach Clark and like came up to me and like put his hand on my shoulder and was like, I'm glad we got that out the way. And I was like, me too. And I was just like so happy. I was so ecstatic. I like texted everybody. I texted like my best friend Kaylee. I texted Elijah. I texted all my friends. I texted my boyfriend. I texted my mom. I texted my brother. I texted everyone that I was like, yeah, I talked to her too.
We had a conversation.
So
oh
then,
my goodness.
I thought that was gonna be the only time I saw her. So I was like satisfied with that. So no, it wasn't.
What?
I know. After my race, I went to go. I was upset about it. So like I was like crying and stuff, and like I was on the phone with my mom, I think at the time. And I just so happened to look up, and where I was sitting, they have like this whole like medical training tent, where like if you need treatment, you can go get treatment. I just so happened to look up on the phone, and I literally see her in there getting massaged down, and I'm like, wait, Mom, I have to stop crying. I don't like, she's right there. I want to take a picture. So then like I immediately stopped crying, and like I'm just watching her in there, and I'm sitting down, and then Coach Clark comes, and he's like, okay, like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, we talk. And then like I tell him, I was like, she's right there. I'm going to wait until she walks out so I can get a picture. So he's like, okay. We waited a long time, I'm not going to lie. We waited like maybe 30 minutes. But eventually she got out, and then she was walking towards where I was. So then I was like, okay, let me like walk that way to make it like natural.
Yes.
It was not natural at all.
Oh, I was going to say, I like the way you think though.
It wasn't though. So I was walking, and like I was so close, but then one of her old coaches went up to her with another athlete, and they started talking for a long time. So then in my head, I kept on walking slowly, and I was like, do I walk like around in a circle, or do I just kind of stand here? I ended up standing there like a weirdo, and I was just standing there, and it was like kind of awkward too. I wasn't like in there because I couldn't hear anything, but like I was just kind of like there with my backpack, just kind of looking. And then they ended up finishing their conversation, and then she starts walking. So then I just went up to her, and I was like, hi, I'm Chloe. Can I please have a picture?
Please.
And her husband was there as well. And like I like shook his hand, I shook her hand. And then she's like, yeah, of course. And then took our picture. And then I was like, you're such like an inspiration to me. Like you did so well out there. And she was like, thank you so much. She was like, have a nice day. And I was like, okay. And then she walked away.
Oh, I love it. I am such a fan of Sydney. She makes that 400 hurdles look like a breeze. Like she's not even doing anything. Like, how is this possible?
Literally, I love her so much.
Yes.
Like, so much.
And then, you know, she's a Christian, like, just on TV, because I've never met her, but like just on TV and like on socials, she just seems like such a good person.
Yeah.
Which is few and far in between. She seems like a really good person. So have you had any, like, besides Sydney, like athletic inspiration, like other people that you've looked to, or maybe other athletes that have poured into you?
Other than Sydney, Sydney is like the main one, but no, I not professionally. Obviously, like freshman year when I first came here, I met my teammates Kaylee and Kenson, and Kenson would always like be like, we would always joke about, like, we'd be in the dorm, we'd be like, yep, we're gonna be in the Olympics all together, and I don't know, I guess just like him saying that, and then like me like coming to Lamar like the way I did with like being the last person to be signed and like not really having that big of a scholarship, I was like, oh yeah, like he was just saying that.
Right.
But over the years, like, or over the seasons, like I would watch him and I would watch Kaylee and I'd be like, dang, like they really like want this, and it really did, like the way that their work ethic, like everything, like it really did inspire me. And then when Kenson went to nationals, outdoor nationals, and like became All-American his freshman year, that's really what kind of like sealed the deal for me. And I was like, you know what? If he can do it, so can I. And if he sees that I can do it, then I can do it. So both of them definitely played a huge role in why like I pursue track the way I do.
Why did you choose to come to Lamar University for your track career? It
was the only other school that reached out to me. The first school was some school in Oklahoma, but it was D2. And I knew in my heart I needed to be at a D1 because I knew that if I had just gotten here that I was going to like make my way up. And at first, like most athletes who come to Lamar, they think like, oh, this is like, I'm going to get right here and then I'll transfer out.
Right.
So I reached out to Coach Clark because one of my friends from my area in high school, she came here for volleyball, and I saw that she signed, so I was like, let me just see. So I emailed Coach Clark really late in the summer, and he got back to me really quickly, and we got on a phone call and everything, and then he eventually signed me, and it wasn't that big of a scholarship, but it was like enough where I was like, okay, like this is okay. And you know, my family like is blessed enough. I was able to come here and everything, and I knew like being the last person who signed here that I kind of had something to prove, and then also like all of that, like just like not that many schools reaching out to me, like just for myself, I knew that I wanted to just like show like I deserve to be here. I deserve to be D1. I deserve to run track and field in college. So yeah, that's basically how I ended up here, and I love it. How
has the community here at Lamar University, the track and field community, embraced you?
I love our like, our program. I love our program. I love the Beaumont community. I always say, like, when I first came down here, I was like, man, there's nothing to do out here, like.
Right.
But then, like, I don't know, like, this past year, like, really showed me, like, oh my gosh, like, Beaumont is, like, really cool. Like, the community is small, but, like, very supportive in, like, what we do. And, like, with our program, I love our program. I love our coaching staff. I love my teammates. I love everything. Like, they really help me, like, grow into who I am and not really, like, change or, like, try and, like, tell me who I am. They'll just kind of, like, let me, like, be. I don't know. Like, it's just, they play a huge effect into who I am, what I do, why I run, and everything.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So for the Olympic trials, you said that you had stopped running, was it 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
So once you find out that your times qualify for you to run at the Olympic trials in Oregon, what is your practice or your training like during that time?
So when I found out, I was out of town, but I was on my way back, I think back home. And I think I had just started training that week, but I had an injury on my hamstring. And I thought it had gone away since I took 2 weeks off, but it didn't. So then I want to say like the third day into it, I was with my summer track coach and I was doing sprints. And like it got like so bad where like I had to pull up and like I fell on the track because I tripped. And I called Coach Clark and I was like, yeah, like this isn't working. Like I don't know what to do. And he was like, okay, like it's fine. Just like rest until like trials. And I was like, all right, like are you sure? Like I
no
already
running,
know,
no
like nothing. Like he was like be active. But he was like, but don't do anything like that's gonna irritate it. So I was like, okay. Obviously, like I was like in my head, I was like, I should be like running. I should be doing something.
Yeah.
And I was like working at that time too, so I was like up on my feet and stuff. But like I was still like, no, like I need to be like training. And I ended up just listening to him because I was like trusting him. I was like, you know what, like. If he thinks that I'll be okay, then like I'll just be okay. So then, yeah, I didn't train for that week and a half. I left. We got in Oregon. We didn't do anything that first day. Second day, we went to go and get my ID and everything. We went to go look at the track. I can't remember if I did a lap around or maybe I walked around the track or I did something like that. And then all I remember is just the day before I ran was the first time I had gone over a hurdle since regionals. So that was like since like 3.5, 4 weeks. And then it felt good. I felt okay. And then, like I said, they had like a whole training, treatment, like camp thing going on. So after that, I went to go get treatment. The lady that I worked with, she was from Kentucky, and she was like talking to me and like really helping me out with my hamstring, and yeah, that's pretty much all the training I did. It wasn't much training at all.
Okay. What was it like and how did you balance being a collegiate athlete, because that's very demanding by itself, and going to college and going to school and your classes?
I don't know. I think like up until like this year, I've actually had like a really smooth schedule. I would always go to practice and then I would have like a whole block of time to just chill and then go to class and then weights right after. Or it would be the other way around. But like I would always have like a moment in time to just like relax and just like be able to like chill before like having to go or having to run and do stuff. So it really wasn't hard. There were some like weeks where like it was just like during finals or during midterms where like it did feel like I was like running around a lot. But I don't think I ever got like really, really stressed to the point where I was like, I can't do this. This year, I have gotten to that point, but that's because I picked up doing an internship, I'm doing back-to-back classes, so it is a lot to juggle, but I think, I saw this like quote where it's like, every day you're not always going to be motivated, so you have to be dedicated in what you do, because dedication is over motivation. So then ever since I saw that, I was like, okay, like, that's pretty valid. I'm not going to be motivated to do all of this every day, but if this is something that I think is going to get me to where I want to be, then I'm going to pursue it because that's what I want and those are my goals. So I think I just do that. I mean, I do cut out, like, I don't have, like, a good, like, relationship with, like, food and stuff sometimes. So there are times where, like, maybe I'll, like, skip a meal or two. But other than, like, that, there's nothing really, like, major where I'm like, I can't do this.
Okay. Once you graduate, you're a senior now. Once you graduate, what is your plan? Are you going to turn professional track athlete? Do you start training for 2028 Olympics? Do you go into your career? Or all?
I think I'm going to end up doing all if I can. I've talked very little with Coach Clark about how he can, like, help me, but for sure I do want to try and run professionally. I know that it's, like, obviously going to take time for me to get to where I want to be. So obviously I'm not going to make the expectation to where, like, the first year I need to be here. So with that, I plan to, like, kind of stay in Beaumont to get my master's and still train with Coach Clark since he's helped me, like, make it to trials. He can help me get better.
Right.
And then also, like I said, I'm doing an internship now, and then just stay here, get a job here in where I want to do, and then just have that kind of as, like, a backup plan, kind of. And just do the 2 years for my master's here, and then see where I am, and see if plans change or something.
What is your major right now?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice, okay. And you are wanting to pursue that in what area? As a lawyer or?
I started out as a lawyer, but I want to be an FBI agent.
I love that.
Yeah.
Are you interning with the FBI right now?
No, I intern at the Juvenile Justice Center down the street. But I am wanting to do a FBI internship over this summer. So like I said, this year, like, I'm really I have such a busy schedule. It's because I needed more like extracurricular activities to show that I can manage my time well for the internship. So I'm gonna apply for that here soon, like in February. I have to apply, and then I'll know by summer if I get it or not.
Oh wow! Sure, I hope you get it. That would be awesome.
I know, that would be cool.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's talk about the mental health aspect of being a collegiate athlete, but more so, being an athlete that runs at the Olympic trials. Was there a mental health aspect of this whole situation for you?
I don't think it was necessarily the trials. I just think at that time, personally, I was going through, like, some stuff, but I've always looked at track as something where I can, like, get away and just, like, focus, which is why I think, like, I've, like, excelled in it. Not to say that there isn't any, I don't have any, like, mental bad things with track. Obviously, like, I struggle with not making track, like, my whole personality and, like, defining my worth and stuff. I definitely do have a hard time doing that, but at that time for the Olympic trials, I really think just, like, qualifying really just, like, made me content with, like, where I was and, like, who I was as an athlete.
Now, I know you said, and I feel like a lot of athletes do this, like the collegiate athletes, the athletes that are professional, going professional, they want to be known as, yes, I'm this amazing track star, but I'm also, like, another person outside of that. And I know you said you're working on that. So what things are you, like, telling yourself, what resources are maybe you reading or listening to that's helping you say, yes, I'm an amazing track athlete, but I'm also, this other person?
Most of it is religion. I go to, like, on-campus stuff. I'm in the org called FCA. It's like Fellowship Christian Athletes.
Okay.
And they really, like, really spot on with making sure that we're not defining ourselves, and like ways to help us, and like we get to talk with like other athletes on campus who also feel this way. But definitely that, also like talking to my friends, like, oh, they're really good, like especially like when you have friends like inside like the sport that you're doing, but also outside of your sport, like it gives you a different like point of view, a different perspective. That helps a lot. I talk with my family. Usually talking with my mom helps a lot as well. I don't there I know how I get when I start like letting track like revolve around everything, and I usually get really like sad or upset, especially if I'm doing like bad at practice or not being where I want to be. So like when I start seeing like the signs there, I kind of like just like slowly start like doing this stuff that like helps me like stay grounded. But if I see that it's like not working, then I go see my therapist, and she helps me. She regroups me back to where like I need to be. She reminds me of like the stuff that works for me, and you know, like one thing that she like sticks with me all the time is like she tells me like when I start talking negative, then like, or when you start thinking negative, then all in your brain is all negative memories, negative things that make you feel the way that you feel right now, because that's how the brain works. So she was like, so you just need one memory, one thought, one saying for you to just kind of like say in your mind or say out loud that will help you get out of that tunnel, because if you don't, you'll just spiral down it. So after she told me that, that's when like I'm kind of like, okay, let me see like what have I been doing good in. I've been doing good in school. Okay, let me like focus on like what else I've been doing good on. And then usually like I'm just like, okay. And then even without that, like I remember I was going through a hard time, and she was like, okay, like look outside, like what do you see? Like what do you see that's beautiful? And then I was like, the trees. And like she like made me sit back and like realize like this is beautiful. What I'm doing, where I'm at, no matter what, there's something there that's like beautiful, or something there that can represent like happiness or something to me.
I love that. I love that. If someone is watching who wants to mimic what you are doing, become a collegiate athlete, and so this will be a two-part question. They're in high school. What would you advise them to do to move from being a track collegiate athlete to, a high school athlete to a collegiate athlete?
Definitely reach out to coaches. I didn't do that during high school. I always thought like that they would come to me, but it's not like that at all. I don't know where we got that from, but I always just thought that they were supposed to come to you, and that's it. But definitely reach out to coaches. Gosh, I really can't explain. Like, that is the main thing. Just make sure that your name is out there. What you're doing on social media, it makes a really, really big difference. What you're posting, everything like that makes a huge difference in if you get recruited or not. They are gonna look at like the track aspect, of course, but coaches like Coach Clark, they also look at like your personality. They see who you are, because yeah, you may like be good for the track team track wise, but will you like fit in with the team overall? And if you can't fit in with the team overall, I'm sorry, like you're really good, but like we can't have you, because then it throws off the team's dynamic, which will eventually make them go downward instead of upward.
Right.
So you have to know the team's like program, or like you don't even have to know it. You just have to really just be yourself, and then I think like the right school will come to you. And if like they're having trouble, like just calm down. Like whatever's supposed to happen will happen. Just wait. And if you need to go D3 or D2, like I said, I wanted to go D1, but looking back, like I really regret that. And like I'm very blessed to be like where I am and how it panned out for me. But had it not panned out this way, I would have regretted not going D2 or not going to a JUCO. Because those definitely help you to like be way, way, way good. And I have a lot of friends who go to D2s, who go to JUCOs, and they're like really, really good. Who even like go to like bigger D1 schools, and they're like really good there. So I think it's just being patient, making sure you're doing what you're doing, make sure what you're doing is right on and off the track, and then just reaching out to coaches and being like, don't be like annoying, but like be like firm and like persistent. Yes, persistent. And obviously they're gonna tell you like no, and that's fine. But if they're not saying no, but if they're not saying anything at all, just keep on being persistent, because eventually you'll hear something back.
Yes. Okay. And what advice would you give the collegiate athlete that wants to run at the Olympic trials? What advice would you give them to make that jump?
I think we all have our ups and downs in our sport. You just gotta keep working through it. And just keep thinking about your goal, keep thinking about what you want to be and who you want to be in the sport. Last year there was a really, really big difference in how I trained, specifically because of my mindset, and I really do believe, still to this day, that the only reason why I got to the Olympic trials was because of my mindset. It didn't matter like what I was doing obviously it mattered, but like if my mindset wasn't right doing the hard workouts, then physically I wouldn't have done the things that I did. So just like being strong mentally, even on the days where you don't want to do it, but being like, okay, like this is where I want to be, so I need to do this to get better. And like having the like aspect of like each day I'm getting 1% better, like having that aspect really, really helps a lot. Obviously having like a support system too helps a lot. But yeah, just like, it's gonna sound so cliche, but like don't give up, like at all. Like we all have our highs and we all have our lows. And like even like when you're in your lows, like I was really upset that I didn't make regionals, and then there was like a super high after that.
Yes.
Like I was at my lowest, and now like I was all the way up there, and it was like, oh my gosh, like where did this come from? So really just write it out, honestly. And just keep being good, keep being like mentally okay with like where you're at, and like don't compare yourself to like others.
That's so hard.
Like a big one. It's really, really hard.
Yes.
But I think like once like you like get the hang of it one time, then you're like, okay, well it doesn't matter what they're doing because I'm completely different. And the way that they run is different from me. So I'm getting better with the way I run. So just like stuff like that, like I think are like really, really big key factors in like everything we do. And just like, I always say this, like track is a mental sport. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like it is a mental sport. You have to be mentally strong to be great out there. So if you want to be great, just you have to really focus on like what you're saying to yourself, because it matters.
Do you think that track is more mental than it is physical? Like the mental part is more than the running part?
Yes, 1000%. Because you could be running fast, but then if there's 1 second in your mind that's like, am I doing this? Or if you even question yourself, or if you look over and you see someone else and they're kind of gaining on you and your mind is like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can, it will literally like, your mind controls your body, like it will literally shut you down. And there's been so many races where I've done that to myself, and I'm always like kicking myself in the butt, because I'm just like, why did I do that? Like I had the race, and had I done it the way that I know how to do it, I would have been there. So definitely physical, obviously, but like mentally is way more. Way more.
What lesson or lessons did you take away from competing at the Olympic trials in 2024?
I actually learned a lot, but I think the main one was that it was okay to be where I was. And like, you know, we just talked about like not comparing yourself. I was really struggling with that part. Throughout my entire season, I was comparing myself to a whole bunch of people, and like even when I would like do really good, or like even if I ran a PR, like I would like still be like really upset because I saw that someone else ran faster. And I think like I even think just like me, like God giving me the opportunity was just to show me and to teach me like it is okay to be like on a completely different timeline than someone else. And when you're expecting to get something, it may not happen. What am I trying to say? Like when you, the best things come when you're not expecting it at all, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And I think the trials, like seeing everybody and all the pro athletes warming up and seeing how they take everything seriously, I was like, dang, I always thought, I was like, I wonder if at one point you thought about like quitting, or like how you think about yourself now versus like 3-4 years ago when you weren't really known.
Yes.
So like when I see them, and like even now, like when I see them on TV doing interviews and stuff, like I'm always like, like little you would probably be so proud about like you achieving your dreams and doing something like that. So that definitely, and then also like no dream is like too big. Like they're always like attainable, and like I think like I don't know, like those two are like the biggest lessons I've learned. Other than like the small stuff, like I need to like little things matter in track, and like that's what separates pro athletes from the not pro athletes and stuff like that. But yeah, they're just
Okay, so I have a few more questions for you, Chloe, and then I'll let you go. What have you had to unlearn about yourself through your track journey?
Unlearn about myself. I think it would be that I don't even know, but like I think it would definitely have to be something to do with how I know others perceive me, and how I like wrap it around who I am. And I needed to unlearn to do that because I'm putting so much pressure on myself because I know they're expecting a lot. And that's how I used to run in high school. I used to be like, okay, like, obviously my mom would be like, I love you win or lose, but like, I know, I put it in my head like, okay, I'm going to do this for my mom so she could be proud of me. So like stuff like that, like thinking like, oh, like if I don't win this, then I'm going to let my teammates down, or I'm going to let my coach down. Just like unlearning that like toxic like mental aspect really like helped a lot. And obviously it still comes back time and time again, but just having like Coach Clark say it out loud, like it's okay. Or like having like my friend like be like, it's fine, like you're literally fine, like it's okay. You're not always gonna be like perfect. You're not gonna be this robot that goes out there and does everything perfectly. And like me just being able to accept it and just be like, okay, it's okay to have off days. I think that's like the biggest thing and I'm still learning how to unlearn that.
Right. My final question for you, throughout this interview, you have spoken about your relationship with God and how your Christianity is very important to you in your life. Can you tell us or tell me, what has God revealed to you through track?
Gosh, what hasn't He revealed? I have learned so much about myself because I'm in track, and even just like how I started it, the relationships I've made, what I've gone through. I like, even when I was like in high school, like I've had this feeling like God has something big for me. Like I don't know what it is, but like I feel it. Mm-hmm. And I really think like track has something to do with it. Whether it's like I become pro or not, I think track is like what's gonna make me who God needs me to be. And I don't know, like track is something very special to me, and I don't know how to explain it other than like I think like part of my purpose is to be something to do in track or something like that, and like God has given me so much opportunities, like even like the Olympic trials, like that really showed me a lot about like God hearing me when like I was like crying to Him, or like when I would like be really upset about practice some days, like that just showed me like He was there for those moments. And at regionals, and I was crying, throwing my spikes on the ground, like I was like, God is so good. And there have been like a lot of stuff that like I've gone through, but everything eventually always leads back to track. Mm-hmm. And I think even the people that like He's like made me meet, like, and them like making my relationship with Him even stronger, and just Him being the center of everything that I do, that's really just like the universal change for me. Like that's what He did for me, was He made track not only something like worldly, but something that like I see in my head, in my mind, and in my heart, it has something to do with Him, and it's something greater than the worldly views.
Yes. That's a great place to end. That's a great place to end. Congratulations to you on running at the Olympic trials. I think that is just the best.
Thank you.
I really do. And everything else, and being on the FBI, becoming pro, all the things. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for tuning in and watching. You can get Chloe's podcast and all of my other podcasts on YouTube Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. And remember, you always have time to listen and learn on the go.
Come on, let's go on a journey. Sit back, buckle up, enjoy the ride.